Guys, we need to talk about Halo. All right, so the new Halo TV series that I've been waiting months and months and months for, or years for, basically for any kind of live action Halo, finally premiered. And I watched the first episode the other night, and I have some thoughts. First of all, I am going to do light spoilers for the episode, although I think they are pretty light. I will say, if you've played the games, this is kind of a reimagining of Halo. I feel like I need to disclose I did work on Halo for a while, so you could say I'm biased or whatever, or if anything, maybe just I have high standards for it, I guess. But what I'll say is I didn't really enjoy it. I think the show has potential, hasn't lived up to it in the first episode though. Okay, so just to kind of recap what happens in this episode, we start out at a outpost that is essentially a colony world, a mining world, and we see them get attacked by the Covenant, who they are not aware of. Obviously, the UNSC is aware of the Covenant. They send in a team of Spartans, and led by Master Chief, Sierra 117, and they, kind of clean house with the elites that are attacking this facility. So I want to talk about what I liked about the show, and a lot of it starts in this kind of opening sequence. There's, some good action up front, which is nice to see. In a Halo show, there should be some action. They did a lot of, I guess I'll call them kind of fan service shots, where you get first person action shots, which I think some people are interested in seeing in a Halo. It goes back to Doom, right? Remember the Doom movie where they showed the big long first person sequence. I'm glad these were short shots. I wouldn't want to watch a whole sequence of first person for, more than a few seconds, but I'm glad they were there. And to continue the positives, when we move on from this colony, pretty much the entire rest of the show either takes place on Reach, which is awesome to see in live action, or it takes place inside a Pelican. So these sort of UNSC technology sites, futuristic UNSC sites, sets basically are what look a lot better. The colony world, I had some issues with. To kind of dive into the negatives a little bit, the whole opening sequence looked like that weird mid-range budget. Like, it wasn't high budget, it wasn't low budget. So some things looked jarring. The elites didn't look amazing. Master Chief, when he's fighting them, and it's clearly, a very CGI kind of fight, didn't look amazing. It also didn't look terrible. Like, I could have seen worse. So I was okay with that for the most part. Really sweet watching Master Chief man the Gatling gun that he's ripped off of the mount. I mean, that was a cool moment, of course. There was some really cool stuff here, but I do think it gets overshadowed by the weak stuff. Like when I was talking about the CGI, even the opening sequence where they're all kind of talking about Spartans around the table, something about that shot just looked like a video game or fake to me. Like people's faces, like the lighting was too, I don't even know how to describe it, too even, too harsh. It didn't have enough darkness or contrast to it or something. You kind of want more Mos Eisley Cantina and less video game renders, kind of what it looked like. When you get to the Pelican, there's a big sequence that takes place there. The plot just slows to a crawl. It's a lot of exposition. Master Chief interacts with a Forerunner device. They think it's a Covenant device. They don't really know what it is. And he starts to see some of his memories. We get some interesting stuff happen that I knew was happening in the show ahead of time. Master Chief takes off his helmet. We see we see the actor that plays Master Chief in this episode. And people are caught up on that. I actually don't care. I didn't really watch Orange is the New Black that much. I know that's the other big thing this actor's been in. I think he did a great job for what he's going to be. Like, no one's going to be happy with the voice, what they see behind the helmet. It's just impossible. I wasn't upset about it, to be honest. That wasn't the worst part about the show. People are very concerned about this new character that was the survivor of the colony. I hope she's not a huge part of the show, because I really don't care about that character that much. But I also, it's kind of it's the new character that's going to sponge up all the information, right? Like, it's going to character build and world build, and she's there to basically ask questions and have, for the audience. That kind of character is going to exist in most kind of shows like this, and that's totally fine as long as it doesn't become too much of a focal point. When you get to Halsey is perfect. I think that was a perfect casting for Halsey. She's a little softer than Halsey is in the game canon, which, if you're not familiar, this is a new kind of an adaptation canon. It's not the official Halo universe, which I'm really bummed out about. I wish this was the official story. I kind of get it though. My biggest problems with this show are, so far, it's only one episode in, this whole like Chief rebelling against the UNSC thing right off the bat. Like, if you're going to do that at the end of the show, maybe it's really strange right off the bat to have him kind of go rogue and like you know, they're basically like talking about taking him down. It's maybe they're to show just how much of a badass he is, that they feel like they need a whole army to go against him or something. It's a very strange way to start the show, for one thing. And my one little gripe here at the end is he gets away. There's no fleet over Reach. Like, what the fuck? There should be a fleet over Reach. Like, there should be, you know, at least one massive capital ship guarding Reach. It's such an important planet, and I understand this is a different, you know, version of that universe, but that was ridiculous. I don't even know what's going on there. So that's another little interesting minor gripe I had. There's just a lot to unpack on this show, and my gut instinct as I got done watching was like, well, that wasn't great. That doesn't mean that there's not hope for this show. This show could get much better. There's been a lot of shows recently, especially on the streaming services, that have had kind of weak first episodes. I don't really want to talk about those shows. This is about Halo. And I'll definitely watch this show in its entirety, just because I'm a huge Halo fan. I want to see where they're going to go. But boy, I really hope it gets better. I think first off the bat, you know, this is not a good look for the show. And it seems like they would have wanted to start strong. Like, I would have made this thing essentially almost like a small movie that people would get super interested in, to hook them, right? I think that would be the right direction to go for this show. I'm okay with not seeing the Halo until like later in the show. Probably, I'm guessing at the end, to be honest. This is kind of when we're going to see that. Maybe not. Maybe we'll see it in the next episode. I really don't know. But it just seems very strange so far. Oh, another thing too is Miranda Keyes. She's a very timid version of that character from my experience. I think that's a strange take as well. I would have liked to see that character be a little bit more aggressive. And I guess technically I would have liked to have seen that from Halsey as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I really hope that they pull this show off. I'm curious what you guys think about it. I know a lot of people have been kind of like, this is bad. And that's kind of where I'm at, but I'm interested to see where it goes. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm super interested to figure out what you think about this show. And thanks for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, there are some links in the description where you can support me. You can go to my Ko-fi. You can go check out my channel membership here on YouTube to get access to some perks. There's also a Discord you can join. You can support me by buying comics over at Gemini Comic Supply. All kinds of different things that you can do. Go check out Turlock Comics if you want your comics cleaned and pressed, and go check out dangerouswaterscomics.com if you want to pick up some comic books, and there are discount codes in the description for those places as well. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, I want to remind you, as always, hey, read comics every day.